Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to yet another match of the Abstraction Cup Round of 32. We are reaching the nigh end of our Round of 32 weekend on this very fine Sunday, and what better match is there to finish it off with none other than our number one seed, T1, against the likes of Lost FURRYJOROBA. So these are both teams that made it out of the Round of 64 bracket without much scathing, and they're here to duke it out over in the Round of 32 bracket. They both made it out with sweeps, while Lost FURRYJOROBA only lost 1 point so far. So we're gonna have to see who's gonna be knocked down into the losers bracket this early. I'm your host, Epic Man 2, and I'll be joined alongside Znow. How's it going?
Hello, it is going quite well. We should see how this match will be. I mean, I know the seats are quite far apart, but it's always interesting to see how both these teams do in their scores.
Absolutely, especially with the likes of Stoneworm and Hikitsu. I know for a fact that having seen some of their previous performances over in the qualifiers in round 64, they are not a team that you can easily scoff at. Even if you were to put them against our number one seeded team here, who is, I mean, I'm pretty sure anyone at this point pretty much knows who they are. I mean, you have a team that's just Nepage and Hello Sun, some of the strongest players that even the United States of America has to offer in this modern day and age of Osumania history. So it's like, you know, it's a little difficult. It seems like T1's going to be rolling the curse number, and it does look like they are actually being out by Lost FURRYJOROBA. If I can get up their rolls quickly, they are going to be, they got an 87. So they were beaten by only 12 winning. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to get that choice of first protect, first ban, and going for that first ban.
Indeed. Okay. Makes sense. I'm thinking Stoneworm, or at least the likes of FURRYJOROBA, I think it makes sense that they'd want to go for the bans first, considering that they get to make both their decisions while at least reading what T1 has to do, because there's a lot of options that both sides can really take a little grasp at. Rise 2 is going to get the protect, so that's going to be Unhappy Refrain, the more jump stream, hand stream oriented pick. Makes sense to protect this one because I'm assuming T1 would want to bank off of Lost FURRYJOROBA being thrown off by the strenuous anchors and patterning within that one alone, especially.
Yeah, and now we're moving on to the other protected bans. I honestly don't know what they could go for. I mean, we all know T1 is basically well-rounded when it just comes to everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it literally just goes without saying. It's just something that everyone and their moms know, as it looks like Hyperfree and LN1 will also have decisions made for them, a protect and a ban respectively. Okay, solid decisions.
Hyperfree is kind of interesting. I feel like that's one of the more simpler picks in like the... Oh, okay, no, okay, I read it wrong. I thought it was a Hyper 3 ban.
Yeah, it's Hybrid Free, Protect, and then ban for LN1 as we're waiting the likes of T1 to make their ban, and afterwards is going to be Lost FURRYJOROBA making their first move on the board. So I think Hybrid Free being protected here is a bit of an interesting tactic because of the fact that I've seen a lot of teams go into this one tactically because this is the more Rice bias hybrid. I mean, especially for its origin coming from the likes of the Mania Mapping World Cup that's basically ongoing right now. The qualification stage only just like revealed its cards literally a week ago, and we got this map in our map pool to basically throw a lot of people off, especially since I'm trying to change the name of how hybrids work in this tournament a little bit. Rise 5 will get the ban hammer for this round in particular, though, so a bit of an interesting decision made by T1 as we are going to await that first pick.
That's an interesting ban. I would think maybe something along the lines of Rice 1 or Rice 3 gets banned, just because like they're a lot more simplistic compared to a lot of these other ones, which could hold potential room for choking.
Yeah. I mean, I think the main thing I can grasp around a potential Rice 5 ban from the likes of T1, or at least like if you were to get Hello Sun on that map, for example, is basically just... I think it makes sense to ban it just solely going off of how if you're a lower seeded team, you may not be as physically adept to patterns as you know Hello Sun would be. So your main strat would probably have to fall under just simply exploiting through dense patterns that can definitely throw them off. In which I definitely think that Rise 6 could have basically just been adjacent to such a decision as well. However, we're gonna see our first protect being thrown out here instead, which is Rise 2.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting pick. I mean, I think everyone's aware of how, in a sense, how trolly this pick can be with the middle lane, the middle lane trolls.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different take when it comes to jump stream and hand stream, but I thought it was a bit of a necessary one as well, just because I think liberally I wanted to see a little bit of a change within how jump streaming picks work in the early game, so that, you know, it's not inherently just the same. This was somewhat seen with our Bookstore custom from last week especially, although this takes it to another level when it comes to its anchor control, and basically a lot of these trills, as you can see right here, just exploding onto the battlefield. No one has a visible advantage but Neptune by about 100 points, and even then Stoneworm is basically catching up to them by the tail.
Yeah, it is so close, which, I mean, in a matchup like this one, you wouldn't think it'd be this close, but it is close.
That's actually messed up to think about if you were to put it into perspective, because this is a champion we're talking about here. This guy has literally thrashed the likes of MWC 3 years in a row, and then also just recently the Oceania Long Note 4th edition as well, and somehow we see some really tight competition over here on this jump stream hand stream pick. Only 215 BPM, basically an all-out ratio war that we've been seeing throughout the entire weekend, and somehow no one is able to escape it, even going into the very end tail of this weekend as well.
Yeah, and as we're continuing on, Stormworm is literally right behind that. Dropping a little bit though, but I mean, it looks very possible for the side of blue to get a potential point throughout this match. I think it might just come down to maybe like a bit of an unfortunate situation on the side of red if we want to see that maybe, but it's close.
Exactly, and I think for this being a really close pick in particular is really surprising. Makes sense that this would be a fairly safe pick, but this is screaming unsafe than anything. Like, this is the point where you have to be so precautious and so aware about all of these obtuse misjudgments you could probably get throughout the map, because this map can really force bleed any of that if you aren't too careful with it.
Yeah, and as we're going on to basically the later half of this, I mean, Storm kind of fluctuating a lot in terms of the accuracy, very kind of up and down roller coaster, but still staying within that 0.9 range, so definitely good by all means, just what can you really do when you're going against them?
I think, like, at that point, the main strategy is pretty much just to keep on your tracks, because the minute you let go of your keyboard, that's basically where all the problems begin to arise. And even then, Stoneware has not even placed a single foot wrong. We have the quad rain down, a devastating mash to your keyboard, and somehow no one is actually faltering on this. Well, and it's literally just the most minimalistic misjudgments coming from Stoneware, and it's literally only extending to what? Perfects?
Yeah.
Not even a grade at this point. It's like, I swear they're both on V1SS rate.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, both these players are just really good at accuracy, especially Stoneworm as well. I mean, they're proving it right now.
Yeah, especially on a map as tough as this. This is like perhaps one of the most physical we can go with raw skill in an early round like this. The final jump trill rains down, and from what it looks like, how do you get a 997k and still lose to a 999k? What is a king to a god, bro?
That's unfortunate. 250.
It's so great in the bad misjudgment as well. Oh, bro, how?
It wasn't even that far.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. It's like, even dude, if it genuinely pains me seeing those two misjudgments and thinking the 46 perfect difference in ratio would literally still give it to Neptune, even if it's like less than 100 points of difference
Literally.
in the score. Like, how? We've seen really close sweeps happening throughout this week as well, and if this ends up being another one of those, then I'm already seeing the round of 16 bracket. It's not gonna look pretty.
Yeah. No, it's like I said. I don't know where I said this. I know I said at one point, but it's essentially just old LN4 brackets all over again.
Literally, as it looks like Rice 1 is going to be giving an immediate response from the likes of T1, so makes sense, I want to say, especially following from Rice 1, albeit I think this is also packing the same risks as earlier on, because I think when it comes to some of these easier Rice picks, arguably, these are just going to be the equivalent of opening Pandora's box because of the fact that it's all really easy. Both Stoneworm and Nepogen, for this matter, are very well capable of playing a lot of these really easy maps and just getting good ratio on them. Even if Super Rotation is slightly harder to ratio, just going off of like the dump and the fluctuations of snaps even, it might still be super close. But I'm not the one to tell. The time in the next few minutes is.
Yeah, I mean, especially a pick like this, which is a lot more simpler in comparison to something like the last pick, maybe. You could give a chance for even better accuracies, which is kind of scary to think about.
Absolutely. It's just insane thinking about. And a winner bracket is this as well, so. Alright, looks like everyone's going to be sending out their good luck, have funs. Hopefully we will have fun watching this next map. It's going to be our first, one of our customs for this round, going to be Super Rotation map by Wolfview, this happy hardcore-ish dump stream map. It's a little different from the conventional Rice 1 speed type charts that we usually have, considering that it's a little like simplistic with its patterning, but it still packs a punch when it comes to competition, as we have seen in other matches previously.
Yeah, well, it's tough to see how things go down on a pick like this one, but so far Stoneworm actually has the accuracy advantage here.
Indeed, yeah. So far, so good. Some of these bursts are already out in the open, out in the limelight, and so far, so good. Everyone's on good footing. That's the problem. It was literally stuck in the middle. Like, it's just flickering, it's just dancing, tap dancing, just doing some salsa over here. It's just not even budging a little bit. That's the problem.
Yeah, especially as we're starting to go into this course. I mean, it's still the same. I mean, you'd expect a little bit of fluctuation given that this part gets a little bit more trickier and even faster, but no, it's still the same.
Exactly. It's like neither of these players really wants an advantage, or at least it's pretty much adjacent to time trials in any other video game. Imagine Stoneworm is just somehow the ghost of Nepogen, and the fact that that's even a full right here in this very hour of a Sunday even in 2026 is... How do you even come to that conclusion? Like, we're only halfway through the map, and it's still neck and neck, just less than 500 points of a difference. They may as well just be playing the same map.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay. My bad.
Yeah, but even after that first course, they're still at the same accuracies. Oh,
wait.
We're seeing a little bit of a switch.
Hang on. Could we finally see some bias? It's still right in the middle. I can't even like get it out of my head. We still have this next course, which is basically just a rerun of what we had witnessed earlier, but basically amplifying the nerves a little bit, as it's still anyone's game. And the fact that we're seeing this right here is genuinely going to be a bit of an issue for Iversign, and whoever ends up losing this pick, if it doesn't come down to a really bad misjudgment at the end, is going to be so sorely disappointed at the result. I'm scared to see what happens.
Yeah, Nev dropping a little bit of accuracy, but Stoneworm as well, as he was just catching up to Nev.
Oh no. Dude, wait, we have like less than 10 seconds of the map. What's happening?
I don't think...
No.
I think it's still gonna go to Nev's side. Yeah, just
Only
barely.
425 points. That's 21 perfects. That's 9 plus 10 perfects of difference. Wow. Oh my god, man, bro. We live in a society.
Yeah, we live in a society.
Dude, I remember I was saying this to Dynascape earlier in another stream we ended up commentating, and the fact that we had 2 picks so far in the rice category, and they were both under 2,000 score of difference is... No, man. How does this keep happening? This is not this is not how we have sweeps now. It's not like there's no way that sweeps are just this competitive now, that we just have all our winners just only winning everything by the slimmest amount of score possible, by less than 500. Like, this just can't keep happening.
Yeah, but as we're going into this next pick, we might see maybe a bit of switch up, especially as we're going into an Ellen now.
Yeah, it seems like this makes sense on paper for Lost FURRYJOROBA to try and change things a little bit. The rise has been a massive sweat fest going into the earlier portions of this match. So I think it's pretty much the healthiest option to try and bring out an alternative option to see whether that can just translate the same. Hello Sun looks like they're going to be swapping out in place of Neptune here, while Hikitsu will do the same for the Lexus Stoneworm as well. So this is kind of going to be interesting. I wonder how Hekitsu is going to be doing on this one, because I'm not sure I've really seen how their capabilities within LN as much as I've seen Stoneworms, for example.
Yeah, we haven't seen Henkitsu in this match at all. But we haven't seen Hellstone either, so it's gonna be a bit new, which is gonna be interesting, especially seeing that both of them are going in for the LN, which it makes sense on the side of blue, given that they're nearing like the 3 picks in a row. So they'll have to switch out. So what better sense to switch out than now?
Exactly. It's really just about trying to be conscious of the cycle and just knowing when is the best point to break it, especially if you want to ensure that you can get the best out of every pick you can in a round like this, where you're gonna have to utilize both players on your team and use all the right picks that you can to ensure you are still in the driver's seat. But even then, going into the intro of this map, this is a lot shorter than all the other picks we've had so far. So risks and reward are amplified so much more on a map like this. Although, even while this is the most popular pick that we have in this round alone, this is also one of the most dangerous ones as well if you aren't too prepared for a lot of these really dump-centric LNs that Mike League has brought us here on this custom.
Yeah, I like this one. I mean, it's so fun and bouncy. So it's very easy for a mistake to kind of happen anywhere, especially when we get to like the more intense part.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's honestly a breath of fresh air going into this map pool where, you kind of need a little song that's a little different from everything else that's basically already a sweat fest by default. Maps like
Yeah.
Rice Bowl, for example, that's like the shortest one that we have, and you literally won that by only 55 points or something. This song literally, like, changed a little bit of that. So, it's good. It's warranted in this round. We go
Yeah,
into this next
especially
section. Yeah.
yeah, this section being the most intense one, but we're starting to see Haikitsu drop a lot more.
Mhm. Okay, so going to the final section of this map, this is basically one of those points where you realize you're gonna have to really play catch up as best as you can, because this final section does not last for super, super long either after that BPM switch that's very brief. But that's gonna be 997k just about from Hello Sun going out this match. A V1SS with 139 perfects.
Point 0.9 with a 97 choke.
Bro, how? What even is this?
What do you even do?
You just do.
I mean, it's gonna be their pick now, so I mean, they could kind of go into whatever, especially just given that they did switch out, so they do have quite a bit of room to kind of go with what they feel.
Absolutely. I think if I was T1 here, I'd probably want to try and get the match done as soon as possible, considering for how the fact that for Rise 1 and Rise 2 specifically, those ones were way too close for comfort. So I'd imagine that it's a lot safer for T1 to try and exploit that of the other categories to try and at least bring some more objective points into their side, especially since they want to remain in the winner's bracket for as long as possible and just try and take out names one by one.
Yeah, but going into our density-focused Alan, this one's gonna be interesting, especially just given that it's a bit more control-y than your like usual density.
Yeah, this is pretty much like equivalent to that of Ellen Free, albeit it takes the technical department and just puts it on a song that's a lot faster and uses a lot more of these density influence patterns to kind of add some variety and flavor to this one. It's a little longer, so therefore going to be a lot more competitive and a slight bit of a sweat fest, but makes sense to bring this one out as well from the side of T1 in my opinion.
Yeah, well, let's see how this goes. I mean, I would say consistency like an important factor with a pick like this one, but like there's so many picks that are also like really like lengthy. And of course, I mean it's a tournament. Consistency is always going to be like the key factor when kind of going into a match.
Yeah, it's just that when it comes to this tournament, this takes it to a bit of an extreme. I mean, this is only round of 32, and we're introducing 4-minute long picks just because everyone's already so good at this game. Everyone knows that we are all good at long consistency maps, so let's just kick it up a notch by 30 seconds perhaps, and also imbalance the length. That was my mindset like literally a week ago, but next week will be better, I promise.
Yeah, well I mean there's a lot of pools left to go, so we'll just have to go as they come by. But kind of getting back into this though, both players performing really well so far, which I mean it's to be expected. Although obviously we have an outlier here, so we're gonna see some crazy scores first.
Yeah, absolutely. And even then, despite it not being as immensely close as it was over in the Rise category, this is still fairly close by regular standards as well, considering for the fact that this is only just under 10,000 points of difference. So despite the fact that Hikitsu does not have the lead by a lot, and especially as, Nepijin, everyone knows how good he is with LNs. The fact that Hikitsu is doing good enough to keep the likes of Nep in check is definitely going to start working wonders if it does come down to any misjudgments. And that's basically something that comes in handy when it comes to, if you're looking to try and exploit people that are higher above you, but that's a miss coming out from Hikitsu. That's going to nullify anything I've said.
Yeah, a really unfortunate miss, but I mean, the only thing it'll do is just push that lead more in favor of Nepijin, which is already large to begin with.
Absolutely, and it's not gonna help that case either, as we got the stop and go section for the time being. It's a brief one at that as well, so really just trying to ensure that you remain as focused on these patterns as best as possible, and then hopefully you're basically at least out of the woods. But this map just does not stop on that gas pedal for an entire quarter of the map. Nepijin still increasing their score, pushing past 15,000 score, and it's still increasing. Hikitsu is still doing what they can to combo a lot of these patterns, but the grades are bleeding out a lot more than often. A lot of these late and early releases are just falling out from their fingers, and this is going to hurt their score and chances of winning this pick by a big margin.
Yeah, but as we're slowly going into the ending, not much that can be done, as Nep is going to take this point once again with the 998, maybe so close. 997, 99. Oh, basically reversed.
Okay. The one great, dude. This is like almost the same exact score that Hello Song got on Ellen Free. Just one perfect off, and there's one great. What are you doing? What? How?
Yeah.
Dude, the disrespect goes crazy. Oh my god, por favor.
Yeah, but it is gonna be their pick, which I'm not too sure what they could go for.
Yeah, especially when your opponent is up already by match point. It only took approximately half an hour to even reach this stage, so I think if Lost Furry Hiroba wants to be able to pick wisely, I think they need to revisit the Rise category if they want to try and use fighting chances once again. I mean, we've seen Stoneworm proving some rock-solid performances on some of these really dense and straightforward Rise maps, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were to go for something like Hyperventilation, for example. What do you think about that, Snow?
I think that could be. I think that pick could work. Yeah, that's probably one of the better picks. I'm not sure if I would go for something like Rice 6, just to how finicky it is. And Rice 4,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit too technical to kind of push that pure accuracy. Because we've seen it be so close.
Absolutely. I feel like for Recombination, for example, that's like the shortest pick of the entire map pool, and everything that I've said is just so much more amplified within that one alone, as we've seen in many other matches. I mean, especially for your match from earlier on, you only won by less than 60 points on that one. So, you know, that stuff happens on Recombination. So,
yeah,
that's the problem with that one, I'd say.
Yeah, it's so hard to really say like what the best pick would be, especially when like you're in the moment and trying to like figure out like what should I pick when I'm down 4 points.
They actually went Rise Free.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think that's a good pick on them.
Indeed, yeah. I think, like, out of all the other Rise picks that we had available, this one was probably one of the most viable for them. Because I think, ideally, we want Stoneworm to be able to try and tackle that of Nap himself. So, with how strong we've seen Stoneworm be on a variety of these Rise picks, it makes the most sense to see them try and challenge that again on Elective Rise Free. Perhaps see whether they can at least return the favor, get that maybe few hundred points of a victory as well that we've been seeing throughout these other Rise picks. But this was the longest one, so that's going to come with its own drawback.
Yeah. So second PC, Stoneworm, and Nep again. Yeah, here we go. So this pick can be very Jack oriented, but obviously you have like a lot of these bursts that kind of interrupt that Jacky motion. So it's gonna heavily rely on just being able to transition between a lot of these skill sets, especially just because I mean Streams and Jacks are essentially just polar opposites.
Absolutely, and you know, when you're using the polar opposite coordinates, it usually often like leads to alternative routes that you can go for, and especially for this avenue that we've seen Stoneworm take a bit of a stroll down on, it seems like so far it's working pretty good. Even if it is resulting in the smallest possible bias for the side of Nepogen for the time being, going off of a lot of these pretty dense transitional moments between a variety of these bursts and chord jacks, still looking like it's anyone's game, even when it's only a few hundred points in one's favor.
Yeah, so it's kind of going by. He actually scoring a little bit, but not even by that much. But it's kind of like we were commenting earlier, how like a pick like this one's gonna be more on that like pure accuracy side, without like a lot of these like too technical patterns. Still have all of these like trickier patterns, but it does leave room for more higher accuracy in general.
Absolutely. I think the more technical patterns that you should be worrying about only really come from the final third onwards, when you know we're past the second course. So all you have is bridge, the final course, and then also the rest of the map where it just introduces a lot of these really dense dumb patterns that demand for consistency and just branch out in an avant-garde manner outside of what you usually expect from most chord jack picks. As we're going into the second course now, and so far so good. Stoneworm is still hot on the tracks against Nepogen, even though the scoreline is just barely even increased.
Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of an act drop from both players, but it's still very, very little. But like you said, I mean, there's still later half, which does get a little bit more trickier, so it could be an opportunity to see a choke potentially, or we could just see a bit of a bigger accuracy drop, which maybe could be beneficial. But again, we'll just kind of have to wait and see it as players to get a bit of a small break here.
Yeah, small break, and it's the guitar solo, which introduces a lot of these other bursts. You also have this brief long jack section, just a bit of a consistency check overall. That's the name of the game when it comes to the likes of hyperventilation as well, which is why it's pretty much served as a variety of people's favorite and worst pick, but Stoneworm actually is going to miss on those transitional jacks. Oh no.
That's so detrimental, especially just given that like the accuracies are so close when it comes to these rice picks. So that one miss basically seals it off.
Yeah, and it seals it off in the worst way possible because you're gonna have to try and bank on Nepigen missing now if you want to at least try and see whether you can at least get 1 point. This is still a close call for them, but despite that one miss, it's basically just going to shut off the chances of Stoneworm winning this and take one for their team, unless something happens. But okay, that just makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I don't really think there's much recovery from that now, unless we just see a really detrimental mess up on Nep's side, which seems quite unlikely.
Yeah, and even then, I think at this point, this is, despite this pick being the core jack equivalent for Rice 2 here, this makes it a little worse with how technical it is, and with this section in particular. This is like the slow burn. This is the point in the map where it just becomes so dangerous for anyone going to this because of how dense it just feels and just how stamina draining it can be after like another 3.5 minutes of everything else you've been through. The final stretch of the challenge, final few bursts, and despite it all, 99k comes out from the fingers of Nepigen, and 56 perfects only is all they needed to take it for a sweep 5-0, and that's going to knock Lost FURRYJOROBA down into that loser's bracket once and for all. That does it for almost all of our winners bracket matches, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that is going to conclude this match. Good job to both these players, especially blue team. I mean, this is only seed 32.
Yep. Dude, the fact that this is literally only seed 32 and we've seen 2 maps that were super, super close despite the seeding discrepancy. That's how you know this tournament is messed up. This is this is how you know like you're in for a ride with this tournament, and it's only gonna get even worse with the next few weeks in particular. Oh boy, I'm scared. I'm really scared, man.
Yeah, I'm excited though as well.
I'm both thrilled and scared at the same time, but that is gonna do it for our Sunday block of matches. We have one more match that is tomorrow, Monday at 20 ETC, which is gonna be our actual final match. Spoiler alert, it's gonna be FFR D9 team against the Sound of Leo, C7 against C26.
Yeah.
So this being our final winners bracket match, it's going to decide who's going to be facing against C10 Lean in the round of 16 bracket as well. So definitely a match you will not want to miss, in fact. So we hope you stay tuned for that. And additionally, we will have our map pool showcase tomorrow as well for the round of 16 as well, to keep everyone in the loop no matter what, because the next round has got to keep on the anticipation. We've built this round, so we hope to see you all then, and we will try and confirm the schedules and, you know, everything else that we got to do, all the other details, the statistics. Okay, thanks, English. This is how you know I got, like, a PhD out of English language from Oxford University, I guess.
I guess we can end things off, unless you have anything else to say.
Chicken burger.
Okay. But I guess with that, we'll be seeing you. Thank you, Epsilon, for the streams, of course. And we'll see you when we see you. Goodbye.
Thank you all for joining us once again, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.